International flights still suspended. PLAISANCE shopkeeper dies of COVID-19 in New York. GT&T temporarily closes its stores nationwide. In the region, Antigua goes on lockdown. And internationally, Florida pastor arrested for defying ban on large gatherings. Greetings and welcome to this edition of Headline News Update. I am George Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us. The COVID-19 pandemic has been ravaging the U.S. state of New York, with over 75,000 cases and 1,096 recorded deaths thus far. Many have been affected by the virus. In this report, BB Backus tells us that one of New York's most recent victims to succumb to the disease was a popular East Coast Demerara shopkeeper.
A shopkeeper from Plaisance, East Coast Demerara, has died in the United States from complications due to the novel coronavirus. 69-year-old Frank Michael reportedly suffered from pre-existing health conditions prior to contracting the virus. According to family members, he died on Monday, March 30th after battling a week on a mechanical ventilator in the intensive care unit at the North Shore University in Long Island, New York. Michaels traveled to the U.S. in January to visit his children who resides there. However, the family's grief has been compounded by news that they will be unable to give him a traditional homegoing service. This is due to the fact that the bodies of patients who succumb to COVID-19 are cremated in accordance with international guidelines. As such, clearance will not be granted for Michael's remains to be returned to Guyana. His death follows calls from the World Health Organization for Guyana to step up its response to the global pandemic that has thus far infected over 894,000 people worldwide. As of today, Guyana has recorded a total of 19 cases, inclusive of 2 deaths. For Headline News Update, BB Backus.
Thanks, BB. In order to protect and safeguard the Commission's staff and the general public, the Protected Areas Commission and the National Parks Commission is closing some of their services. All of their offices will be temporarily closed to the public business with immediate effect until the 30th of April 2020. Event reservations for the use of any of the parks will not be accepted until after April 30th, 2020. All of their urban parks will be closed on Easter weekend from Thursday the 9th of April to Tuesday the 14th of April. These include the Botanical Gardens, Joe Vera Park, and the National Park. The zoo will remain closed to the public until further notice. Almond Beach, Shell Beach, protected area remains closed to visitors until further notice as well. Amidst the growing threats of the coronavirus, the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority has taken the decision to continue the restriction of international flights to and from Guyana. Here's more in this report. The Chetty Jagan International Airport and the Eugene F. Correa International Airport will remain closed to international flights for another month. According to the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, the decision was taken in an effort to reduce the transmission of COVID-19. A statement from the entity said, quote, "The World Health Organization has stated that all passengers arriving from a known coronavirus destination must be subjected to a mandatory 14-day quarantine. With our initial 14 days about to expire and with the lessons learned together with the prevailing regional and global situation, I hereby propose that the directive be extended for 30 days after its expiration until May 1st, 2020. End quote. On March 19th, the airports were officially closed to international flights, while domestic flights have proceeded. However, the government has also approved humanitarian flights to repatriate Guyanese as well as foreign nationals to their respective nations. Outgoing cargo flights, medevacs, and technical stops for aircraft that require fuel have also received approvals by the GCAA. Nevertheless, Guyana's borders with Brazil and Suriname are still closed to traffic. After the break, GT&T temporarily closes its stores nationwide, and mayor defends decision to consult stakeholders before locking down the city.
Stop the spread of germs that can make you and others sick. Cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. If you don't have a tissue, use your elbow. Wash hands often, especially after coughing or sneezing into a tissue.
Hurry down to Zasco on 15 North Road between Camp and Wellington Streets. Quality products at low cost for every room in your home. 65 and 55 inches high-stand 4K smart TVs. Samsung French door fridges. Black & Decker appliances, queen and king size Canadian-made mattresses. German-made pressure pots in 5 to 9 liters. 12-piece pot sets, knife sets, cutlery sets and pans, commercial fans. Samsung smart stoves. Canadian-made 3-piece recliner sofa sets. Air fryers and Hamilton Beach hot and cold water dispenser.
For that reliable, prudent, and courteous traveling experience, your choice is G3 Cabs, located at 228-229 Aubrey Barker Road and Beverly Close, South Reinfeldt Gardens. Travel in comfort and safety with our deluxe fleet of new vehicles and neatly trimmed drivers serving our customers around Georgetown. We deliver cooking gas, small packages, run errands, and provide minor vehicular roadside assistance such as jump starts of vehicles, flat tires, spare wheel assistance, and more. Contact us on 218-4982 or 218-4500. G3 Cabs. You can count on us.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Welcome back. It is the first of the month, meaning that if you plan to pay your current GT&T bill in store, you're out of luck, as the company has closed its doors nationwide in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. But in this report, Esther Sobers tells us about some of the measures the company has put into place.
The Guyana Telephone and Telegraph Company is closing all 10 of its stores from Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. The telecommunication company said the move is a part of an effort to prevent the spread of the COVID-19. GT&T CEO Justin Nett assured the public that measures were being put in place to ensure that the staff would be retained during this closure, and every effort would be made to accommodate customers through alternative bill payments and customer service options.
So as of today, our stores are closed. The stores will remain closed until further notice. As we assess the situation. The thing is with this, we really don't know how it ends, when it will end. You see all types of statistical models in the U.S. and in the developed world, but I would say that we actually, I don't know how much testing there is. And because there may not be adequate testing, we can't assess the magnitude of the problem.
Ned also noted that this month GT&T billing will be paperless. The company's dedicated printer has closed until mid-April as a result of its own COVID-19 measures. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. For a complete listing of payment options offered by the company, you can visit our website at headlinenewsguyana.com for more information. Now for politics. The Guyana Elections Commission is expected to meet tomorrow to determine the way forward following Monday's full court ruling. Public Relations Officer for GCOM, Yolanda Ward, informed the media that, quote, there won't be a commission meeting today. The decision of the court will be studied today and the meeting tomorrow, end quote. It is understood that 3 of the commissioners requested time to study the ruling before the next meeting takes place. Today, Mayor of Georgetown, Pandit Ubraj Narain, responded to criticisms he has received regarding the closure, or rather his refusal to close the capital city. According to Mayor Narain, he is not opposed to the move. Nonetheless, such an order cannot be made without fully consulting all relevant stakeholders, in his opinion. He said in a statement, quote, I wish to correct this misconception. The fact is, I have assessed the situation and I think it is prudent to consult with the Ministry of Public Health, the Ministry of Communities, the Ministry of Public Security, the Private Sector Commission, and the Georgetown Chambers of Commerce and Industry before making a decision. With Georgetown being the capital city and the main economic hub for the country, a number of measures need to be implemented before a lockdown or curfew is enforced. Such measures can and will, in most instances, disrupt aspects of our way of life. In light of this, it goes without saying that the council must seek advice and guidance before the capital city is brought under a lockdown or curfew. At this time, we are still consulting the relevant stakeholders to bring this process to an end. We can all agree that limiting the movement of persons is necessary to slow the spread of COVID-19. It is with this in mind that the council must take the necessary precautions to enforce a lockdown or curfew and to enforce penalties where measures implemented are breached. End quote. When we come back for the break, we have your regional and international news.
Hurry down to Zasco on 15 North Road between Camp and Wellington Streets. Quality products at low cost for every room in your home. 65 and 55 inches high-end 4K smart TVs. Samsung French door fridges. Black & Decker appliances, queen and king size Canadian-made mattresses. German-made pressure pots in 5 to 9 liters. 12-piece pot sets, knife sets, cutlery sets and pans, commercial fans. Samsung smart stoves. Canadian-made 3-piece recliner sofa sets. Air fryers and Hamilton Beach hot and cold water dispenser.
For that reliable, prudent, and courteous traveling experience, your choice is G3 Cabs, located at 228-229 Aubrey Barker Road and Beverly Close, South Renfrew Gardens. Travel in comfort and safety with our deluxe fleet of new vehicles and neatly trimmed drivers serving our customers around Georgetown. We deliver cooking gas, small packages, run errands, and provide minor vehicular roadside assistance such as jump starts of vehicles, flat tires, spare wheel assistance, and more. Contact us on 218-4982 or 218-4500. G3 Cabs. You can count on us.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Hey, Latika!
Shiny man!
Long time in a hear or see you.
I didn't really feel too good.
He never give me no coronavirus, not me.
Like she know you can get COVID-19 from a phone call? What? Hear this? When somebody cough or sneeze, they spray small liquid droplets from their nose or mouth. If you get too close, you could breathe in the droplets, including the COVID-19 virus if the person coughing got the virus. And bops! Just like that, you get coronavirus. So, stay at least 1 meter or 3 feet distance between yourself and everyone, especially those who are coughing or sneezing. Or better, stay home and don't go out liming.
Hey, Radika. Yeah, China man, I can talk all you want now. I can hear and see you.
This is a message from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO, WHO.
Welcome back. BB Bacchus brings us your regional and international headlines of the day.
Greetings to our viewers. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brung on Tuesday announced a 24-hour curfew for the next 7 days beginning on Thursday after berating the people of Antigua and Barbuda for not taking seriously the threats posed by the coronavirus that has killed more than 40,000 people worldwide. Brown also sought parliamentary approval for the state of emergency that was announced over the last weekend, said the SOE would remain in effect for the next 60 days, but could be extended if the virus continues to exist. He told legislators that he was disappointed that many people had, despite the 10-hour curfew announced last week, were continuing to congregate, go on the beach limes, as well as gather at various places, dismissing the social distancing measures to prevent the spread of the virus. Brown warned Antigua and Barbuda to be prepared for a significant increase in the number of positive cases here, adding that over the next 2 weeks, the island could record as many as 1,000 cases based on the various international models using the present 10 cases on the island. Now we turn our attention to South America. The White House has proposed a plan to put in place a transitional government in Venezuela comprised of members of the opposition and President Nicolas Maduro's party in exchange for lifting of sanctions. Al Jazeera's Lucia Neumann reports.
As the Trump administration deals with the coronavirus pandemic, the White House is also stepping up its efforts to remove Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro from office. Just days after the U.S. Justice Department indicted Maduro for alleged narco-terrorism, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced a plan for a transition government in Venezuela.
Broadly speaking, it would put the elected members of the National Assembly representing both sides would create an acceptable Council of State to serve as the transitional government until presidential and National Assembly elections could be held, we hope within 6 to 12 months.
In exchange, the U.S. would lift harsh economic and diplomatic sanctions, even on the sale of oil, Venezuela's lifeline. The plan calls for both Maduro and the opposition leader Juan Guaidó, who is recognized by Washington as the legitimate president, to step aside. Guaidó is already on board.
Hoy tenemos el respaldo del mundo, una propuesta que hicimos hace meses.
Today, we have international support for a proposal that we made months ago for an orderly transition of power that gives guarantees and space to all those who stand by our constitution.
Maduro wasted no time responding. In a communique, the government says that, quote, neither extortion nor false accords will distract President Maduro and the armed forces from their mission to protect the Venezuelan people. But Washington is betting that the growing pandemic, on top of plummeting oil prices and U.S. economic sanctions, will make this offer more palatable for those who could force Maduro's hand. Indeed, the initiative sounds remarkably familiar. It's apparently the brainchild of Undersecretary of State for Western Hemispheric Affairs Mike Kozak and Special Representative for Venezuela Elliot Abrams. The same two men who in 1989 presented a very similar exit strategy to former Panamanian strongman General Manuel Antonio Noriega. Noriega refused, and 6 months later he was ousted by a U.S. military invasion.
If the imperialists and the Colombian oligarchy dare to touch a hair on our heads, prepare for the Bolivarian fury, the fury of a people who will lash out at all of you.
U.S. State Department sources have been quoted as saying that U.S. military intervention is not in the cards, but that a surgical strike could achieve the same goal. The ball is now in Maduro's court to see if he will call Washington's bluff. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Santiago.
And internationally, a pastor in Florida has been arrested for defying public health orders aimed at stopping the spread of the new coronavirus. Al Jazeera's Andy Galichar reports.
There is no other law than the Constitution of the United States of America.
On Sunday, worshippers packed into the river at Tampa Bay Church despite health warnings, strict social distancing guidelines, and an order to close all but essential services. Its pastor, Rodney Howard-Browne, received several warnings from police before he was arrested on Monday. The authorities say his actions are a reckless disregard for human life.
Shame on this pastor, their legal staff, and the leaders of this church for forcing us to do our job. That's not what we wanted to do during a declared state of emergency.
The church says its building is sanitized and they kept worshippers apart. But their live stream of Sunday's service shows people breaking guidelines meant to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Florida limits gatherings of more than 10 people, including religious services. Lawyers for the church allege the enforcement is a form of discrimination, but authorities disagree.
Lastly, I'd remind the good pastor of Mark 12:31. Which says there's no more important commandment than to love thy neighbor as thyself. Loving your neighbors is protecting them, not jeopardizing their health by exposing them to this deadly virus.
Like many of this state's megachurches, the river at Tampa Bay has the technology to broadcast its services online. But Rodney Howard-Browne is no stranger to controversy. He says he can personally heal Florida of the coronavirus, has touted conspiracy theories and been described as an extremist. Authorities say he endangered the lives of thousands, but he's not alone. In Louisiana, hundreds of worshippers defied bans on large gatherings in a state that could soon see hospitals overwhelmed. Leaders at the Life Tabernacle Church near Baton Rouge say they're not forcing anyone to worship, but their actions have been condemned.
COVID is unpredictable, and we're learning new things about it literally every day. There are so many more questions than answers. Why would you want to put your loved ones at risk like that?
In Virginia, one of the most prominent evangelical universities reopened its doors to students despite warnings. At least one student has now contracted the coronavirus. On Monday, the state's governor ordered all higher education institutions to stop on-campus lessons. The decision by some religious leaders to flout warnings meant to slow the pandemic.
Thanks, BB. That's all for this edition of the Headline News Update. Tune in Thursday at 7 p.m. for another episode.